Welcome, boys and ghouls, back to another episode from Labramon Reads. This episode is going to be a reading of one of my favorite poems, The Raven, by Edgar Allen Poe. So sit back, relax, listen to the wolves howl in the distance, watch as the red blood moon rise into the night sky, and hope beyond hope that nothing grabs you in the dark. The Raven by Edgar Allen Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many acquainted and curious volumes of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished tomorrow, vainly I thought to borrow from my books or keys of sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never filled before, so that now to the still beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently, my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, for the fact I was so napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I was scarce was sure I heard you. Here, I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word. This I whispered, and echo murmured back the word. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what the rat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven, the saintly days of yore. Not the least absent made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of palace just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Thou thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven. Ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Pluton shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But this raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a single feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore!" Startled, At the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it others is the only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster had followed fast and followed faster, till his lungs once burden bore, till the dirges of his hopes that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird and button door. Then upon the velvet line sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy onto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, "Nevermore!" 'Tis I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowls of fiery's eyes now burned into my bosom's core. 'Tis and more I stood divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining was the lamplight glowing o'er. She so pressed, ah, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfume from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch!" I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by the angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite, independence from thy memories of Lenore. Quoth, oh quoth this kind penance, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore!" "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still of bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore. Desolate yet all undaunted on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore!" "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still of bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden and within the distant Dean, it shall clasp the Satan maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore!" "Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked upstarting, "get thee beak into the tempest and the night's Pluton shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that shall he spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take it from off my door." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore!" And the raven never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming. And the lamplight over him streaming throws his shadows on the floor. And my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. I hope you all enjoyed that poem, and I hope you all have a great, safe, happy Halloween. Don't let the spooks bite.